What's going on, Jerome's? So the much anticipated Netflix documentary Receiver dropped today, and of course we're just fast forwarding to get to all the Jefferson parts. So all 8 episodes dropped, and like I said, old man curmudgeon. I kind of wish that they would do it in a serial version where it'd be like an episode a week, because mainly it's like what happened with the Last Dance documentary, where we all had this collective moment on social media as we were watching it together versus, I don't know, like I know that there's gonna be a lot of people that just binge all 8 episodes today. Can't do that. Like, I've never been like a binge person other than House of Cards when that came out, because here's what I would do. House of Cards would always drop at like 3 a.m. Central Time, the only time zone that matters, on a Friday. I would take that Friday off of work. I would watch the entire season, and then I would never watch it again. As weird as that is. Anyways, but yeah, just want to walk through the first Jefferson episode. So JJ wasn't even in episode 1. And they chopped it up, so it was Debo, Kittle, and St. Brown in episode 1, part 1 of the first episode, and then episode 2 was Jefferson and Devontae Adams. So just walking through this. So JJ at his house, showing off his jewelry collection. Now, he talked about how he has like a persona for Jets. All right, so he's got Justin, his normal self. He says that he's quiet, sort of shy, very reserved, and then there's Jets, who we see on the field. Jets is the showman. Jets is with the chains and the glasses and the grill and all the jewelry and stuff. Jets is Flash. Jets is the showman. So it's kind of cool to see that, because I mean, the Jefferson Flash on the field is what helped makes him marketable, and that's why he's the face of the league. That's why he's got the number 2 selling. He's got the number 1 non-Taylor Swift significant other selling jersey in the UK. So he's going to be an international star, man. And so it's also it's funny where he wears a chain in game, and it fell off against the Eagles. He just threw it on the sideline. Trishan Jackson just like jumped on that thing like a fumble. It was good to see, man. But also it's good respect there. I'm surprised. Again, outside of like, who was the defensive back that snatched like a chain away from a receiver? It was hilarious. Like, I'm surprised that more jewelry doesn't get lost on the field. I feel like groundskeepers in the NFL, like they a portion of their income comes from found jewelry that they just fence. I don't know, man. But JJ looking good. You can afford a lot more jewelry now. Also, you talked about like high fashion and stuff like that. I think that's the great Janae Johnson over there on the left. But that's an awesome jacket. I don't think it would work with me. They got into his candy obsession. Blames his mom for stocking the house with all the candy for the guests. But I don't know, and they also talked about how he got himself a private chef in year 3, so he's eating good, so it makes room for some of the candy. Also, you'll find that too, because like DK Metcalf says that he drinks like a coffee a day and then has 3 bags of candy. And of course, DK is just like a tank, right? But you forget too, is like, I mean, the guys come into the league like they're young. I mean, they're basically kids. Like, they're not full on adults yet, and they still have the metabolism where they can have these fun things. But once you get into your 30s, nothing fun can ever happen. I will smell like baked croissants or something like that from a bakery, and I will gain 10 pounds. That's just what happens when you get old, man. It sucks, but it is what it is. Also, speaking of is what it is, so there's a great clip from the Chargers game where Derwin James, so Derwin is one of the best safeties in the league, don't get me wrong, but one-on-one man coverage is not his bag. So Derwin lined up against JJ, and Jets was talking a little bit of ish. Come on, guard me, all that stuff. And then Derwin just like shifted out. Yeah, I thought so. It's just funny, man. Like, Derwin didn't want any of that smoke. And of course, there was cameos from Kirk Cousins, Falcons quarterback. I wonder how they got Kurt for the documentary crew. Like, how they know how to get a hold of him. Of course, he was the subject of season 1 quarterback with, again, Mahomes and Mariota. Just kind of funny, man. Then they got into the history and entomology of the gritty. So basically, Jefferson's mom, Elaine, wonderful lady, was saying you have to do something special for touchdown dance because she just called his touchdown dances boring. And so Jefferson and Jamar Chase, they adopted the gritty, which was created by one of their friends from New Orleans. So keeping it local and keeping it parochial, and every time he scored, he hit the gritty, and he had to check with the refs first. It's like, because the first time he did it was against Texas, and he just looked at the ref, can I get away with this? It's going to be a penalty. And then of course it carried up to the NFL and basically became a national and international phenomenon. Like every single time, like my kid does something good, he just hits the gritty. He doesn't even like football, but he does the dance. It's funny, man. Then it got into the so the Eagles game, and JJ unfortunately fumbling out of the back in the end zone. Vikings lose by 6, 34-28, and no one was harder on Jefferson than himself. Like he was very pissed off about that. Also, this one I'm locked in, man. I've had a poopy day, and I hate the effing Eagles, man. That's all. Plus, it was interesting because behind closed doors, Jefferson was still obviously mic'd up by the doc crew, and O'Connell like really ripped into the team. Like he was dropping expletives, he was calling them out, and that's a side of Kevin O'Connell like you don't see. Like everyone assumes that he's all sunshine and rainbows and Ted Lasso and stuff like that, but it was a Zimmer adjacent type rant that was caught on Jefferson's mic. Like it was interesting. It was like hearing Mr. Rogers swear. Basically, that's what it is. But props to Kevin O'Connell, because sometimes you need that. Sometimes you do need a kick in the ass. Also, got into how great Jefferson's family is. The parents, John and Elaine, are just fantastic, and you see how good of a dude Justin Jefferson is, because he had great parents, he had great older brothers, and they just have a very good young man in Justin Jefferson. And talked about, we mentioned this before. So his oldest brother Jordan was quarterback at LSU back in the day. The middle brother Ricky played safety, defensive back / linebacker for the Tigers as well. So I mean, Jefferson was the third of three brothers that played at LSU. Plus, talked about how he was very lightly recruited coming out of high school. Rivals, I think he was 0-star, 24/7. I think he was a 2-star. And basically, LSU just took it. Was like, his brothers played here. All right, come on. And then, of course, he was a late bloomer and became a star, absolute stud. Plus, it's great to see, like, from the doc and also from other things, like when Jefferson signed his contract and stuff, like you see how close his family is, and also like Jefferson's social media, like whenever he's at an event, whether he's at like a basketball game or a concert or an event or something like that, like Jordan's with him, Ricky's with him, and the parents are with him. It's just a very tight knit, awesome family. So you just love to see that. Then got into talk about the contract. Of course, this was last year before Jefferson got his mega deal this offseason, and so I don't like how the producers try to frame it, where it's like, well, he didn't get his contract done, blah blah blah. Well, very few players get a contract after year 3. And Jefferson talked about how he had earned that right, and not so much like in a greedy way, but just stating fact, and it's true. And the Vikings and Jefferson nearly came to an agreement before the start of the 2023 season, which would make him the highest paid receiver, but he bet on himself, and even in a year where he had an injury, pretty significant hamstring injury, by the way, he still got taken care of, because he's still the best receiver in the game. And now, instead of being only the highest paid receiver, he's the highest paid non-quarterback, and rightfully so. But basically, they tried to frame it as like, he's worried about his contract, blah blah blah. What happens if he gets injured? And then, of course, the Chiefs game. All right, so I don't really like how they did that, but you just seeing Jefferson, the raw emotion of him on the sideline, him pissed off, him frankly a little bit scared, because he talked about how he had never been injured in his career before. So I mean, it really is scary, man, especially in the moment, especially when that adrenaline's going. You don't know exactly what's going on. The trainers were, is it cramps, is it a hamstring? And then, the trainer was very blunt. Just like, this is a significant injury. I know that's what you don't want to hear. I know you don't want to hear that, but it is what it is. So, like I said, I'm going to save the rest, but we'll go through that, and basically we'll just be like, hey, it's going to be interesting following him coming back and trying to get back onto the field. I'm sure that he was bugging Kevin O'Connell and the training staff all day long to try and get back out there. And then remember he took a shot in the Raiders game, the first game back from Josh Dobbs put him out there with a hospital ball, and he actually had a bruised lung. So that's crazy from that. But then, of course, the GOAT meeting Pat Mahomes' kid. That's all, man. But yeah, it's really engaging content. Omaha Productions and Peyton Manning, like they do phenomenal work. Quarterback was great. Receiver will be even greater. So some of that you do love to see. But that's it. Your thoughts are thoughts. Recapping the first episode of Justin Jefferson in the Receiver docu-series. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.